Hey, Bob Coppage, CEO Simplex-IT. It's Monday morning in August, and coming into work. Actually, I've already been here, so this is kind of a stage walk. For the last several months, I've pretty much been the only one who comes in every day. I must admit lately that that's starting to change a little bit. We're having more and more reasons for techs and other folks from Simplex-IT to drop by for a couple hours to do this, that, or the other thing. And it's absolutely cool. We follow protocols, social distancing, masks, and all that kind of fun stuff. But for the time being, I'm pretty much the only one here. And, to enjoy the logo, to have at it with the occasional Space Invaders, and to enjoy our wall. This is actually a wall that we always ask visitors, of which there are none now, to essentially sign in, say hello, all that. If you do visit Simplex-IT at some point in the future, we basically ask you just sign, just to say howdy, all that kind of fun stuff. I have no idea how many, but we had to expand the wall, or just expand the area that we're going to have the signatures. And this is what we call the fire room, which is one of our meeting rooms. And it's called such because it has a fireplace, which is absolutely not usable, but hey, it's got one all the same. And we also have our wall of old stuff where technology that we find with clients or ourselves or flea markets or whatever that's particularly old and outdated. No, I don't sit on the shelf. We particularly find. I particularly like, let's see. Yes, we have a TRS-80, and we also have a pair of Google Glass. We also have some of the awards that we've received. Here's the Weatherhead Awards, and here's all of the MSP 501 awards and the like. Well, I'm sorry, not all of them, because we were recognized once again this year for the 2020. So that'll make 6 of those. And then this is Technology Row, or Tech Row. This is where all of the techs would be working if they were working here. Then we've got our tech room, which is where techs work. One of my favorite parts of the tech room, and I've referred to this very frequently with actual pride, is things Bob is not allowed to touch. Yep, they don't let me play with this stuff anymore. And honestly, some of that stuff's my handwriting. Then we've got our, what we call the long room, another conference. One of my favorite types of meetings here, and we don't have them enough, but is especially with our co-managed clients, where we'll bring the internal IT folks and even some management folks here, and we will just sit down for hours and just walk through what the organization is doing with their IT and making sure it's in line. I love those conversations, because that's where the juices start flowing in terms of what it is that we bring to the table, that IT brings to the table in terms of our clients. This is my office, and it's also known as a mess, my bookcase. I will tell you, if I ever visit your office, if I ever visit your home, first of all, you'll be very concerned if that latter happens. The first thing I will check out is I will check out your bookcase. That essentially is the brain's trophy room. This is my favorite actual chart of all times. This was actually created, I believe, in the 1800s, 1869. It was one of the first charts to actually communicate factual information, specifically in this case, some of the metrics about Napoleon's attack, unsuccessful attack on Moscow, or march on Moscow, by using data graphically so that visually it tells a story. Absolutely. If you ever get a chance, take a look at that chart. If you're ever wondering what a chart should look like, man, that is it, man. That is it. And it was done in 1869. Amazing. So one of the things we're doing lately is we are heading back to the marketing world. And what I mean by that is that for the last several months, we pretty much haven't gone to market. We haven't tried to sell our services because, quite honestly, it just wasn't the right thing to do. Well, I think that's changing. And I think that's changing not from the standpoint of people want to be they want to receive hard-fisted selling techniques, buy this now or else or whatever. But I think that organizations are more and more understanding of the fact that we got to move forward, and not from a denial standpoint in terms of denying the fact that the pandemic is important, but recognizing it and understanding it, that the organizations and the companies need to move forward in spite of the pandemic. And so the tack that we're using, and I'll be honest, we are doing a lot of work on LinkedIn, including, and thanks to Patty and Rob and McCartney, not of the Beatles, we are doing a ton of work on LinkedIn. We are posting a video every freaking day, just a 2-minute video on some aspect of business or productivity or philosophy or whatever. We've been doing this for about 3 weeks or so. Plus, we're also really trying to develop a much larger span of folks to talk to. And I've been actually engaged in conversations with about 100 and 200 people about what's going on from their organizations or their professional or personal lives or the like, in terms of how they're developing and how they're adapting to things. It's been absolutely fascinating and really kind of cool, because when I started doing this, I'll be honest, we had more experience as far as engaging on Facebook, where it is so political and just, it's Facebook. On LinkedIn, I got to tell you, totally opposite, with very, very, very few exceptions, and exceptions I could, count on one hand and still have a couple gestures left. Everybody's been very, very polite and very open in terms of sharing, both from their organizational standpoint and their personal standpoint, how work from home, work from anywhere either has already been there or is happening or can't happen, and why. And they've been open to sharing ideas. It's been really cool. So that's been one of the things that we've been doing, is really going heavily with LinkedIn. We also are going to be participating in our first virtual business show, not as attendees, but we're going to have an actual booth. And I'll show you a link to that one in the comments. And then finally, boy, most importantly, because this is August, and this will be the 13th year that Simplex-IT has been around. And you know what that means? Well, nothing this year, but no, we always would do parties or picnics, or last couple of years we had it at video arcade bars, and we can't do that this year, which is a bummer, but in some ways I like what we're doing better. If you remember a couple months ago, I did a bit of a rant, and it was a rant, no question, how I had to do more. And I don't do those kind of things quickly. So here's phase one. We're actually, instead of doing a picnic, we're doing a fundraiser. And we're doing a fundraiser for Open-M, which is not only a food bank, but also provides so much more services for the needy throughout Summit County, actually. I learned their reach is much greater than I thought it was. So we're going to do a fundraiser for them where Simplex-IT will match dollar for dollar up to $5,000. Throughout August. We may even go in a little bit in September. So there'll be a link in the comments, but help us reach this goal, to help this organization. And I think on Friday, August 21st, we'll actually broadcast live from there as they do one of their monthly, I hate to say food giveaways, but that's essentially what it is. Because at the end of the day, and there was a great comic, Pearls Before Swine, I think it was, where they talked about how fairies don't exist, but we do. At the end of the day, what are we doing, starting with me, to make this situation better? This is step one. And it's by no means the only thing that we're looking to do, or I'm looking to do. I need your help, okay? I need your help, and it's not, it is amazing. If you listen to some of the videos we're putting together, it's amazing how much actual support $5 will give to folks. And I'll double it, so it's actually $10. So take my money. To sum up where we're at, Simplex-IT is back doing some active marketing, but we're doing so what I'm referring to as velvet marketing. We're not doing strong sells. We're actually sending books to people. We're finding out that a lot of them aren't getting them because they're not working at their office. We're following up. We will be back in terms of doing virtual events, we think in September, but we'll see how that goes. Definitely by October. Good stuff going.